welcome to your favorite show here at Campus Corner. I am your host, Nzisa Sharon, and today for our first segment, we're going to have a different kind of art. We've all been dancing throughout beginning our segments and everything, but today we have a different kind of art, and we are joined by one of our very best writers. She is still a student, and she will tell us more about herself and what exactly she does as a student. Karibu sana, Salma Abdulatif.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So can you just tell us more about yourself? Who is Abdulatif?
Okay, so I am a writer who's going to love writing right from the beginning go. I used to write since I was young, and I will read and write and keep writing. That was the only way I could heal from pain or anything that I was feeling inside. And I am also a community servant. I run my own community-based organization back in Mombasa called Motivational Talks for Youth. So what we do is we do motivational speaking forums in schools and institutions. We also do empowerment programs and trainings on leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship, and talent nurturing. And we also assist in the welfare of the larger community by doing community outreach activities.
Okay, there are some rumors that you're the granddaughter of some very known writer. So what's that all about?
Okay, Ali Mazrui is actually my granddad. Not direct granddad, actually the brother to my grandmother. Yes.
Okay.
And some people say that I get inspiration from him. Could be. Because he was also passionate about writing. But I always believe that I come from a family of activists and writers, because back when I look at my father's family, most of them are either activists, or they are community servants, or they are entrepreneurs, or they write. So I think it comes from the family.
So apart from you and your grandfather, there are any other writers in your family that have seen it to publish their books actually?
Yes, I have an uncle also called Alamin Mazrui, who has also written a lot of poems in Kiswahili, and he's published. And I also have another uncle in Nairobi called Ghalib Tamim, who has also wrote Islamic books.
Okay, before I forget, could you just highlight some of the maybe two books that Mazrui, your grandfather, has published and people still continue to use them?
Okay, so there is a book that he wrote about the history of the Swahili and how the Swahili came into being, and also about our history back in Mombasa, how we came into being and how we evolved until we are where we are right now. Yes.
So your granddad already has his books and people continue to read it. Where can people get these books? Does he have some big library in Mombasa, or he just is he still alive?
No, he passed. Unfortunately, he passed away. But we have this library called the American Space in Mombasa, in Mewa.
Where exactly?
It's in Mewa. Mewa is somewhere around 7 Up in Mombasa, Kingorani. Yes, so there's this big library called American Space, where we have the U.S. Embassy also, an office of the U.S. Embassy there.
Okay.
So there's some of his books there. Actually, the library is named after him. It's called the Ali Mazrui Library. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So you just had to follow up his steps.
Yes.
So Salma, is writing your only talent, or do you dance? Do you sing? Or what else do you do apart from writing?
Okay, this is something that not many people know about me, but I am a very good performer of spoken word, as in I can really perform my poems, and I can also swim. I'm a very good swimmer. Yes. And music.
Wait, swimming is not a talent, it's an ability. You learn it. You learn it from people, rather after you're born you learn it. But I believe talent is something that you're actually born with. So you started writing when you were young. And have you processed or rather published any books so far?
Yes, I have, and this is my first book called A Painted Inspiration from the Palm Fringe Beaches. This book, I got inspiration to write it from the people of Mombasa. I'm inspired by my culture, and I'm really passionate about my people.
Okay, so what's the book really about? Is it just about inspirational quotes? Or?
Yes, it's a collection of inspirational quotes, quotes on love, life, success, how to handle hardships, how to handle pressure, and yes.
So you major on inspirational quotes. You don't write stories.
No, I do write stories as well. For me, I do poetry, I do prose, I do quotes, and I also do creative fiction.
Creative fiction.
Yeah.
But you don't have any of your published books on stories
and
stuff.
Yeah.
But do you have any that you've already published, and how much do they go for?
This one goes at $450, and right now I'm also working on my second book, which will be poetry and prose, which will be out next year, God willing. Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer to do inspirational quotes and the other storybooks. How do you, as a writer, do you guys usually limit your pages, or you just write? Because sometimes you get a book that is this huge, then another that is this small. So what's the big deal with you writers? I mean, can't you just like come together, sit down, and decide? Okay, so we're gonna write a 500 pages book and not going past that.
Actually, for personally,
Do you have a limit personally?
Yeah, for me, I always think for the poetry book, it will be a big book. I think it will be past 100 pages. But this one is small, but it contains 120 quotes. Yes. So for me, I believe it's always about the content that you are delivering. It can be a book as big as 500, but when you're done, what information can you give to other people from that book? We've had people reading novels which are so big, but you ask them what lesson do you learn from the novel, but they have nothing to give you. There's a debate I had with my friends last month. We have a book club. It's called Rain's Book Club, so where we share ideas and read books and all that. And then there's a book that I read called it's about Africa, How to Write About Africa by Wainaina. And my friends were telling me, Salma, you cannot say that you read a book, because we were writing down the books that we read, and I had written it down, and the book was like 10 or 15 pages. And she said, you cannot say you read a book. This is not a book. This is a manuscript. But I said, whatever I learned from this is a lot. So it's not always about how big is the book. It's always about what
the content.
Yeah, the content or the moral lesson that you derive from the book.
So Salma, what really drives you to do what you do?
Okay, so for me, many people ask me this question actually. What drives me? I would say I really love to leave this world a better place, as in better than I found it. I'm that type of person that will never take a no for an answer. And for me, if somebody tells me this is impossible, I don't believe it is impossible. I always believe that there's a solution to something.
Okay.
So I am inspired by my mother also. My mother gives me a lot of inspiration.
Maybe if you could just mention her name.
Yeah, her name is Aisha. Yeah, and she's a professional photographer, and she's divorced, but she's just something else. As in, I think I get so much from her. She teaches me a lot.
Awesome. So Salma, you do know that there's so many youths out there with so much to do with their lives. They got talent, but then when it comes to art and everything, we all know that doesn't really bring food to the table. As a writer, does it really sell? Like, is writing making you meet your end-to-end daily basis? Okay,
so maybe I can tell you this. Writing in Kenya is not devoured, maybe I can use that word, like writing in Nigeria or writing in America or in New York or something like that. We still have a long way to go in Kenya. For you to be a bestseller in Kenya, you have to do a lot of work, a lot of homework. But I can say that, yes, it does, at some extent, it does pay your bills. Yes, it does pay your bills. So for all the writers out there thinking that they cannot earn from writing, you can earn from writing. But what we are trying to do right now, I even talked with other writers like Lanji, the writer of the book Her Roots, a Nairobi bestseller. I talked to her, and we were saying, how can we try to improve or try to scale or see how writers in Kenya can be recognized more, because I think another problem that we have here is we don't read.
We don't read. Actually, Africans, I don't know if it's Kenyans or generally Africans, these people do not like reading. There's just, okay, I won't call them illiterate, but they're just not into novels and inspirational quotes. They just like living their lives with what they know. So what advice would you give to the youths out there who really want to be writers, but maybe they don't have the opportunity to, or do not even know how to go about it?
Okay, so I will say that first, if you're a writer, then you cannot just sit there and say that, oh, I'll write tomorrow. Then you have to start writing today. And for writing, it's like a journey. It's like any other journey where you have to practice to be perfect. So for all the writers out there, know that if you just sit there and believe that you're a writer but you don't do anything about it, then you cannot move anywhere. So you have to keep practicing. For me personally, if I look at some of the works that I've written before, I'm like, did I really write this? You see, so you improve through practicing and through writing a lot. So that's one advice I would tell you. And then the second advice is maybe writers can sign up to Writers Guild Kenya. I'm a member of Writers Guild Kenya, and it provides a lot of opportunities for writers, workshops, and seminars and readings where people can just go sit together and read and see how they can grow as writers. So yes, that's another advice that I can give. 3, yes, writing does give you food. I can say that it can provide food on your table. Yes, it's a way
It's
of earning
provided
money.
for you so far.
Yes, it has. So
Okay,
it's a way of earning money as well.
I believe you are a student still at some more university actually.
Yeah.
How do you manage your classes being a student, doing your business that is writing? How do you manage all this? When do you get the time to actually sit down and write 500 pages?
So I actually believe that if somebody tells me they don't have time, I think that's lame. There is always enough time for even the busiest person has enough time for themselves. So I believe that you just have to plan yourself. As for now, we are not in school for me. So when I was at home for the 1-year holiday that we had, I used that time to build my organization and take it to the next phase. Right now, MTY has really grown and we've impacted not less than 2,983 youth of Mombasa County. And we plan to scale and do more about that as well. So I believe that you can plan yourself. For me, I do my writings mostly early in the morning when I wake up. After I do my prayers, then I sit down and write something. And sometimes when I read on anything and it inspires me, then I can sit down and see how I can put my own thoughts on the specific topic or theme that I have read about.
Okay, you've talked about you having an organization back in Mombasa that targets youths and everything. Could you just highlight that for us? What exactly is your organization about?
Okay, so Motivational Talks for Youth is a community-based organization that I formed. I've seen that most youth in Mombasa, we've had this stereotype that Mombasa, watu ni wavivu, I don't know, Mombasa, you see all this type of
I think the
things.
sun gets them really. You know, when you stay in the sun for long, you just get out of there feeling you're not yourself anymore.
So actually for me, I felt really bad, and seeing the amount of dropout cases in Mombasa going up, and drug abuse cases increasing, and seeing that most of our youth are not of use, I felt really bad about that. So that's how I came up with the organization.
So do you have a specific place whereby you put your youth, or do you just have events where they come on a certain event, you motivate them and then they go back? Do you have a structured, could I say, building, or how can these people get to you? Where exactly do they go to?
Okay, so we have an office at a place called Istikama near fire station. It's in Mombasa. For the people who are in Mombasa, they can easily know that place. And for the trainings or the activities that we do, mostly we do them at a specific area. Like most of the trainings we do them at the American Space. Because I'm a Yali alumni, so the space is free for me. So I usually tell the youth to come there, and then we do the trainings there. For the field visits, we usually just go out. If it's a beach cleanup, then we just go out as a team to the beach and just do the cleanup. If it's any other activity, we just go out to the field and do it as a team.
Okay, as a student, are there any organization in school that you've been able to engage yourself in that like promote your talent or anything?
Oh yes, I can say, and I always say that Enactors is the mother of my organization, because if it was not for Enactors, maybe I would not have gotten a clear plan or structure of how to give birth to MTY. So Enactors has really shaped me. I've been in Enactors since first year, and I've been in many other clubs, but I was like, no, this was my direction, because Enactors actually served me. It served me what I wanted. So it's actually...
But maybe if I could ask, sorry for cutting you short, but from what I know, Enactors is a social entrepreneurship non-profit organization. What does that have to do with writing?
Okay, so maybe I can relate Enactors with MTY. How my passion for Enactors led me to give birth to MTY. Yes, okay. But for as far as writing is concerned, writing has been part of me, as in it has been like I say writing is my baby. Writing is something that has been with me throughout, you see. Even for me, when people hurt me, I don't go out and tell them, oh, you hurt me or that. I put that into words, you see. When I'm happy, I write. When I'm sad, I write. Whenever I have anything, I write it down. In fact, there is a poem that I wrote about writing being my home in my poetry and prose book. Yeah, and I don't think I should. I don't know if I'm ready to say the line right now.
You could, because I really want to ask you about your spoken word. I love spoken word, and you're gonna throw 3 lines. So just start preparing with what you have right now.
So it was just explaining or elaborating on how writing brings out or sparks emotions in me, and how writing is my home, and how it is an extension of my own being as a person. Yeah.
So do you have any spoken word lines that you have in mind, and you think maybe you'll drop 2 or 3 lines, or before you tell us how to get you?
Okay, so for the spoken word right now, I didn't come prepared for that. Yes, but I do have some of my poems which I do perform. And one of the poems that I really love is actually a quote and a poem at the same time. Is quote 109 from my book, which says, "Some days will be sunny and some days will be stormy. There are days that you'll never want to look at the sky, and there are days when the peace of the stars is all that you will want. Remember, these days shall come and they shall go. You should, however, carry your own weather day in and day out."
You'll carry your own weather day in, day out. So it could be raining, but then you have your own weather in you. You feel sunny. So you just walk like it's not raining.
Yes.
Anyway, that's literal translation. So how can we get you? Do you have some blog, or how Facebook, Twitter, your contact maybe? For those who really want to get to you.
Oh, yes. I have a blog, salumi.co.ke.
Yeah, your Facebook page, probably Twitter.
Facebook, it's Salma Abdulatif Balawi. We just write that down. You'll just find it. But one of the places that I really express my work, and where I've gotten a lot of publicity, is Instagram. I call myself Expressing Through Salumi. Okay. Yeah, so I think Instagram, for me, I really prefer writing on Instagram, because I can just do my little poems and prose and quotes in just a unique way and post them there.
Wow. Salma, I think you've said everything I needed to know. Okay, I don't really like writing, but I love reading spoken words and listening to them. Since you're not in a position to throw 3 lines, nitakufuata too.
Yes,
so thank you so much. Yes. Thank you for being with us today. This is Campus Corner, and should anyone want to join Salma, she's not going to give you her contacts. Just holla Campus Corner, and we'll make sure that you get to her. Thank you so much, Salma.
Thank you too.
That's it, guys, for now. Thank you so much. I have been your host, Nzisa Sharon. Don't forget to join us on our next segment on our discussion, whereby Kulu Brian will be hosting one of the social entrepreneurs on finances concerning students. Thank you so much.